We are activating your unique self-discovery one show at a time. The Orchard of Wisdom Self-Discovery podcast are at your fingertips, just waiting to inspire and invite you in discovering just how awesome you really are and how to navigate through life in joy, enrichment, personal abundance, in mind, body, spirit, heart, and soul. All the people we bring you are here to serve you on your journey of life. Do enjoy our next show. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Their Story Matters right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my repeat guest is JoAnn Erwin. We had her back a few years ago telling her story about a wrongful dismissal at Little Sandy Correctional. One day, she said no to a date with the warden and her life went upside down. It is now 7-8 years later, she's been fighting that wrongful dismissal, but it has got stuck in the courts along with a judge that seems to make excuses all the time as why this isn't a case. And she's been fighting now for 8 years. She's received threats. She's done everything in the book that she knows how. She's been extremely persistent, not only about her own case, but about other cases that have been either wrongfully dismissed, even somebody who spoke up about a wrongful murder of her son in that same prison. And, all of it is just kind of being brushed aside. And we know that persistence works if you are continuing to be persistent, and she is, because now she's written a book, Behind These Walls, where she literally details everything that happened, documents that follow it up, even video links to various things that have happened. She's crossed her T's, she's dotted her I's, and she's here now to continue her story of fighting not just for her justice, which has been, was it 8 years now, love?
Yes, it was 8 years that I was dismissed, August 16th, 2014.
Right.
8 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she's been fighting this ever since. I invite you to go back and listen to the first show where she really goes through every single detail of what happened, why she was dismissed, why they're giving an argument that she wasn't employed by the prison system. She was a nurse in the prison system under contract, but the prison system had to do all the due diligence, background checks, and everything else for her to work in there. The judge is using the argument that she wasn't employed by the prison, even though she is a contractor employed by the prison, as an argument that there isn't a case, and has dragged it out. They've given her threats, the lawyer for the Sandy Clark, and they offered her pathetic money. And at this point, it's beyond the money because they did block her working anywhere else. Then all this from sexual harassment from the warden, who actually was removed and moved somewhere else. There's just far too much buddying going on here. There's far too much dismissing what this means to other people, too much power in other people's hands that are really not doing their duty. And this shouldn't be a case that should still be 8 years fighting for it. So now, as I said, she's written this book because she's not going to let this go. She wants justice for herself. She wants light shed on the situation. She wants the everyday person that has been up against injustice to know that they do have a right to be heard, to be seen, and to get their fair day in court. And at this point, the judge even keeps dismissing her trial so that she can't even go to court. So is it foul play? Is it negligence? Is it buddy-buddy system? What is going on here? And as I said, she's written this book and she's not let any stone unturned. Welcome back, JoAnn.
Thanks, Sarah. It's so good to get to see you once more.
But right back at you, love. And we know that in life, those that keep persisting will eventually, kind of quote, get their day in court. But it's sad that you have to persist and fight so much. And you've come across other people that have gone through this. But ultimately what it is, it's a lack of faith in the system itself, isn't it? Because unless you are a big name or you've got big money lawyers or, big clout or buddy-buddy system somewhere, it seems that you don't matter.
That's exactly right. And that's the situation that I have faced now for 8 years. corruption, the whole Kentucky judicial system is nothing but corrupt. Lawyers, judges, on down, it doesn't matter. You're just absolutely nothing. You don't matter. They just sweep you under the rug, and they hope that you'll go away, but I'm not going away.
No, why should you? There's always somebody that's got to stand up. And, it's the old David and Goliath, and the system is Goliath. But, David won, for just pitching his stones in the right angle. And it's like, you've written this book where you've literally laid it all out. The whole story of the wrongful dismissal, the whole argument that supposedly weren't working there, although you were working there, the whole thing to do with the judge, the arguments, they're not giving you your day in trial, the threats that you've received. You've got the documentation, everything is in this book. So at this point, I would imagine they should be shaking in their shoes a bit.
Well, I really don't think that they're aware that the book is out there yet. It was only released for publication May 31st. So it's just recently released. And I don't think they know it's out there yet, but I'm sure in just a short time that they're all going to find out. And I hope they buy their copy of it so they can read their names and see their picture. That's what I hope.
You've had to stand up and defend for yourself against wrongful dismissal. Basically, you're throwing the ball back in their court and saying, you defend your actions.
Exactly right. Like I said, I allege a lot of things that went on in my book, and they're all true. And for everything I allege, there is documentation, to back my claims. And some of my documentation is even signed by Judge Rebecca Phillips. So yes, it's all right there.
Indisputable.
That's exactly right. One only has to look at the documentation, Sarah, and follow all of that, to see there's a pattern.
Yeah.
They can read my book, yes, but the documentation is all right there, and there is no denying any of it.
We know that the judicial system is broken. We know the prison system is broken. We know there's so many systems that are broken right now, gun laws and everything else. And at what point do we go, we have to change this? We serve the public, we serve the people, and it shouldn't be we only serve a few people for our own benefit and everyone else can go to hell. This is people in politics, people in power, they have kind of misunderstood what they're here to do. And they're here to represent justice and equality and the people that they serve. Yet it seems to have become very much about self-serving, doing favors for one another, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And the everyday person who's facing something that's changed their lives, just, that's okay, we can let that one go. That one could go under the table. This one's not important. Oh, no, we don't want to open that can of worms because that might reflect bad on a friend of mine. And this has to stop.
Yes. Mine is a case of much needed judicial reform, Sarah. Our system is completely broken. I used to had a lot of faith in the system, but no longer. I figure they're all, corrupt. I hate to say that. And your freedom and your rights, they go to the highest bidder. You have no rights. You have no voice. They are the ones with all the power and all of the resources. They can silence you, and there's not a thing you can do. It's just like when I lost my job at the prison. I had no control over that.
And there was no reason given to you at the time?
No, but we know the reason really was I said no to the warden when he asked me out to have drinks with him. Sandy Hook, Elliott County was a dry county at the time. So, you know, this happened in February, the first week of February 2014. April 16th, I was in his office. He was telling me, pulling your security clearance, give me your badge and get the hell out of my sight. No paperwork, no anything.
No reason, no rhyme, no nothing.
No.
You had a very good track record. Everybody liked you there. You were there to serve the prisoners. So there was no 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strikes, you're out. You were just simply out with no explanation.
Right. The evening it happened, I had absolutely no idea. I had no write-ups from the company I worked for, which was Correct Care Solutions. I had no write-ups. I hadn't had any reprimands. I hadn't had anything. It's just, I go in, boom.
You're out.
You're gone.
And the thing is, let's explain to people, you worked for a contract company that provided nurses for the prison.
Yes, I was what was considered a third-party contract, but I was supervised by the warden, Joseph Miko. He supervised all the employees, whether they were third-party contractors or state, all of the inmates, and everything that went on at the prison. He referred to the prison as his house.
So conveniently, when it comes to you pulling a case of wrongful dismissal, suddenly they turn around and say, but you weren't employed by the prison.
That's right.
But the prison pays the contractor to come in, right? To work there. You have to go through security. You are under the rules and the regulations of the warden. Quintessentially, he was your boss in the prison.
Right. I had no write-ups, or I hadn't had any contact from anyone from Correct Care Solutions. I mean, nothing. So,
but when this happened, where did they step up in your defense?
They were not there. After I was terminated, I tried for 2 weeks, maybe 3, to reach someone at CCS, to talk to him. No one would ever talk to me, and no one returned not one phone call. Never.
And what is worse about this is that they stopped you from working anywhere else.
Yes. They say that I'm a liar, but I am not a liar. My name went out in a memo to all 13 state-run facilities, and I was not eligible, to be hired at any of those.
So not only wrongful dismissal, but discrimination.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
I can't remember the terminology of that, but when somebody slanders your name with no right, not one explanation as to why, no written up whatsoever, and not one of these associations asked, well, why? Your name was blacklisted.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was it. No recourse, no backup, no support. from anyone?
No, no one wanted to hear my side of it. You know, they didn't want to hear what I had to say. It's just like, he's the warden, he's right, you're wrong.
No,
Now,
was the warden at this time a big deal in the community?
I think he was, yes, yes.
So he obviously knew a lot of people, because for someone to blacklist someone without any explanation, there had to be some power, either from him or from the people he knew.
Well, I think the whole Department of Corrections is just all powerful. I mean, someone like myself, you have no defense. I mean, it's just what they say. They can do you any way that they want to, and it's accepted.
So just to ask somebody who goes to jail for a crime and they're fighting to fight whether they're innocent or guilty, you weren't even given that right.
No, ma'am, no. I wasn't, you know, then, and I haven't had that right now. That's why I wrote my book.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted the world, you know, to know what really happened from my side of it. I, you know, did absolutely nothing wrong. And I was just terminated, you know, because I said, no, thank you.
And this is, you know, discrimination that is, you know, beyond, you know, I mean, I don't know how he could justify that, but how the judge could justify that kind of action. They're just arguing, well, you weren't employed by the prison.
Yes.
But at the same time, they haven't questioned, well, why was she dismissed? Where is the dismissal notice, and on what grounds was she dismissed? They're just stuck in one groove and not paying attention to anything else.
Yes, Judge Phillips ruled in 2016 that Correct Care Solutions, they were not my employer. But in my book, I have the contract I signed for them. And I also have a copy of a pay stub.
So wait a minute, they're saying that you weren't employed by them, and the prison saying that you weren't employed by them. How the hell were you in the prison as a nurse with security in the first place?
That is exactly what I would like to know. In July,
if no one employed you, how did you end up there?
That's right. In 2018, Judge, you know, Phillips even went as far as saying that the prison, the warden, and the Kentucky DOC were not my employer either. That's one of the issues I want an answer to. That's one answer I want to hear from her. I want accountability and I want justice. I mean, I did not, you know, go to work, you know, just for the fun of it.
Right. The thing is, if they could get off the high horse about the prison employing you or not, your case is against the warden for wrongful dismissal. It's against the man who is no longer there.
Oh, no, he retired. I think it was 2, maybe 3 years after I was terminated. And he moved to Georgia with his full retirement, and he's living the high life.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So what the judge should have said, or even what the lawyer should have said, okay, don't argue about, you know, who employed. She was working there, right? Validation, you had the security to go in and do the work. You were doing the work there. And it was the warden that dismissed you without any grounds whatsoever, without any warning. So this is a case against the warden, who is the head of the prison. And why can't they just go, okay, let's make this a case against the warden then and hold him accountable, instead of, you know, pushing you back all the time of arguing who employed you?
Well, I feel that he should be held accountable, yes, because he was my supervisor. And I also feel, the prison, Little Sandy Correctional Complex, and, the Kentucky Department of Corrections, they all need to be held accountable, because I had 2 ID badges. I had one from the company and also one from the prison. Both had a photo ID on them. So yes, Miko was my direct supervisor.
Right. Now, you're not the only person this has happened to.
Oh no, 4 female officers won a $1.6 million lawsuit either 3 or 4 years ago. They were sexually harassed by their supervisor. And in 2018, the Kentucky Personnel Cabinet did an in-depth investigation. And anybody, they can find the link to this in my book also. And it exposed the warden, the sexual harassment that these 4 female officers went through, and all of the corruption and all of the cover-up.
Did that happen before you were there?
It happened while I was there.
Was
Yes.
it brought to the table before you were fired?
They filed their lawsuit in either August or October of 2014. But it was going on when the warden terminated me in April 2014.
So I think he terminated you because he knew that could be another sexual harassment against him. Obviously, he was hearing the rumblings, right, that these women were going to do a case. He didn't want you to be a part of that case. So he just fired you, got rid of you, one less person to deal with.
That's right. And people asked me, well, why didn't you come forward? Why didn't you file a complaint? Well, it was very simple. I was afraid I would lose my job.
Exactly.
My grandson, he was in high school. He was almost in his senior year. And I really needed to work. I had him, and I had obligations.
Right. Exactly.
And I was just like everyone else. I had bills to pay.
Exactly.
I had a car payment, a home, and everything else.
This is what my theory is that he got rid of you because he didn't want you to be a part of the case. But on the other hand, if he lost that case due to the other women, and you are talking dismissal without explanation, but after you had declined having drinks with him, surely they could put the 2 and 2 together. Why are they not looking at, well, you know what? He's already lost this case to the sexual harassment. These women were already awarded it. The timing of her being fired at this time, in case she came up with the sexual harassment without any explanation, blacklisting you everywhere. It was a threat against you. Don't you join these women? It was a subtle threat. Why can't they see that?
They don't want to see that, Sarah. They see it. They know everything as well as I do. They just don't want to see it. They don't want to admit responsibility, and they don't want to pay up. That's exactly why. And they think that if they can keep my case under wraps, that it'll all just go away, that I will give up, and that'll be the end of it. They want
no, you're going to be a thorn in their side.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
This
Yes,
is this is
absolutely.
David right here fighting
Yes,
Goliath.
yes. My attorney even had to file another AOC 280, I think it was yesterday, against this judge, because she, in her last order, she made herself my jury on November the 28th of 2021. She made herself my jury.
How can she do that? She's judge, not jury.
She did. She not only violated my constitutional rights, but she also violated my civil rights.
Mm.
She made herself my jury when she had absolutely no right to do so. She violated the law right there.
Have you ever
And
met her? Have you ever been in court with her?
oh, yes. Oh, yes. I know her very well. Yes. And listen, everybody in Carter, Elliott, and Morgan County, they know Judge Phillips. Oh, yeah. She has quite a name. But yeah, my attorney yesterday made the third AOC in 4
Explain what an
years.
AOC is, love.
Okay, and AOC 280 is a form that an attorney fills out. And in my case, he has filed it against the judge, which is Judge Phillips. And when he files this, this gives her 90 days. This will give her 90 days, to make her final order where she dismissed my trial date final. And when she does that, then I will have the option to finally file an appeal. And when she signs off of it, it's out of her hands. But she's held this up now, refused to sign it for over 6 months. Now, I'd like for her to tell me why.
Right.
Why is she holding it up? What is she afraid of? What is she hiding?
And why were you not allowed to have your day in court? Because they canceled it.
She just canceled it. She said, well, what happened, Sarah? She dismissed all of my claims in my lawsuit. She granted summary judgment to the prison, the warden, and the DOC. And Correct Care Solutions. She granted them summary judgment in everything that they asked her for. So what happened is eventually she threw every claim that I had in my lawsuit out. Well,
without you ever having a day in court with her.
Right.
You have never been in court facing her, fighting for your case. She dismissed it before you even had that chance.
Yes. She let my attorney proceed with a witness list, documents that he was going to submit, and all of that. She let him go through every bit of that. And she took it upon herself, to be my jury on November the 28th, 2021. In her order, she says, since no claims remain, the jury trial that was scheduled for November 30th, 2021 is dismissed.
But what do you mean no claims were claimed? You haven't even had a chance to present your claims yet. You haven't been in court.
No.
So how can she say no claims were made? You've made all the claims. Everything was ready to go on the 30th of November with your day in court.
Right.
And so she dismissed it before you even had a chance to do that. On what grounds?
She gave no grounds.
Just like the warden. Dismiss, no accountability, no grounds.
Yeah, just get the hell out and move on. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But now, like I said, she violated my constitutional and my civil rights when she made herself my
Judge and
jury.
jury. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because every citizen is guaranteed the right under the Constitution to a fair jury trial by their peers.
Right.
And
she cannot make a judgment without hearing the case. That
Mhm.
is logical.
She did.
How can you dismiss a case before you've even had a chance to hear the facts from the person making the claim? How?
Well, she didn't want to hear it. I mean, I think that there's a lot of ethical issues going on here. And I think somebody was paid, just to look the other way and, just to rule the way she did. Now,
so is there a worry from the prison, from the other company, from everybody involved, that you're opening up another can of worms that just really they don't want to open? And so they're just trying to get rid of you because they don't want this exposed. They just don't want this out in the public eye.
Oh, no. I think that they hope I would just fall in, to a sinkhole somewhere and just disappear, but it's not going to happen. I have, come too far. I have worked too hard. My book was a lot of hard work, and I had to rehash all of that over and over. And, this judge, she even threw things out, Sarah, she asked for. I mean, she asked for, well, one example. She said before I could claim emotional distress, okay, that I had to provide expert testimony, okay. That was what she had. That's what she said. That order is in my book where she ordered that, okay. I had to have expert testimony. So I go to Paintsville and I have a mental evaluation. The psychiatrist I saw issued a 12-page report saying that my depression, insomnia, and all of this was a direct result of the sexual harassment and the treatment I suffered at the prison and at the hand of the warden. Okay. After her asking for that,
she threw it out.
She never addressed it. She dismissed it.
She's dismissed everything. She's been, it really be, allegedly it really has been sounded like she's being got to.
Exactly.
And that's what, and the thing is, it really does sound like the more you've got the documentation, it's in the book now, so it's even published, it's out there, and they don't want this can of worms to be open because I think it could reveal a bigger door.
Sarah, I have always said it's hard to tell what could be exposed, and they don't want that.
Well, you're quintessentially a whistleblower, honey.
Oh, yeah.
So, we know that whistleblowers, they're going to do everything and anything they can to keep you quiet, right?
Absolutely.
They're going to use whatever they can against you. Now, you did get offered, a $7,500 claim to go away?
Oh, yes. Edward Bayless, he's the attorney, for the DOC. He started out, and all of this happened just a week or so before my scheduled jury trial. Okay, he offers $7,500. Big
Slap in the
money.
face. Yes.
Yeah, and then
Hoping you were desperate enough to take the little carrot in front of you.
Oh yeah. Well, a few days after that, he upped it to $15,000. Okay. He then filed a sanctions motion with the judge, threatening all of us with a lawsuit if we didn't settle for his $15,000. And I'm looking at the email that I have right now that he sent to my attorney. He says, if we will accept, the $15,000, that he will withdraw all of the sanctions motions that he filed on me and my attorneys. He just
but sanction against what?
He says that my attorney lied about an inmate had an order for food. Okay. And I know for a fact that the medical, personnel at the prison tried to change the psychiatrist orders for a sack lunch to crackers. So actually, it was not a lie. It was truthful. But they have called my attorneys liars. They have called me a liar. And all I've got to say is, call me a liar now.
Yes.
Read it now. Yeah.
Well, this is when you are a whistleblower, they're going to try definition of character. They're going to try and make you a liar. They're going to do everything they can in the book to make you look bad, not credible. Right?
That's exactly right.
But they picked on the wrong person. I've known you for a while. I know you've been through the ups and downs, and I've had the messages. and I don't blame you at all, because they're cowards, but really what they're looking after is their own interest.
Exactly.
They don't want the can of worms open, because it then opens up not only to the sexual lawsuit, but it opens up to so many other areas.
That's exactly right.
And the other lawyers, the other companies, the judge, and it makes like, who's threatening who's buying who, because everybody just is being shut up, and they're trying desperately to shut you up, but they picked on the wrong person. That's
exactly right. And then Mr. Bayless made one final offer of $25,000. And, we were not going to do that.
I mean, this is meant to be compensation for 8 years of being kicked out of your profession, 8 years of being blacklisted, never mind the lawyer's fees, the stress, everything else that you've gone through. 25 grand is meant to compensate for all of that.
Yes, and he will drop all of these sanctions, but they will.
No. You say bring on the sanctions. Bring it on. I want it public. I'm open. But bring on your lawsuit. We'll talk about it in court.
Yeah. Well, they want me to sign off where I
will be quiet.
Release all of the claims I've had, but they will admit no wrongdoing.
Right.
Yeah. So, it's just, they have made this into a circus. That's all they have done.
Right. Well, they're panicking, and this is what they do when a whistleblower comes along. And as I said, you're going to go through everything. They're going to attack you in every way that they can. The fact that you've kept every single document, now every single one of those documents is in the book. The book is public, right? It's public knowledge.
Yes,
it's publicly printed. they could go around buying every book and stop people from getting it. People could still order it, right?
That's exactly right.
And the thing is, it is public knowledge now. They may not know because it's too soon that that book is out. But this is why we're doing this show. The book is out with all of the facts in there. They're going to come back with another lawsuit of definition of character against them, right? Discrimination against them. They're going to try and shut you up by bringing another law case against to shut you up on your book. And you're going to say, I welcome my day in court to defend all of this. Let's
That's
go
exactly
to court.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Give me my trial date that you unlawfully took away from me.
Yes.
And, I even.
And with a different judge that hasn't been bought.
Yes. Well, I'm hoping my book may institute a claim of, forget the word for it, where she no longer can reside over my case.
A dismissal of the judge.
Yeah, but I even sent Rocky Atkins and the Kentucky governor, Andy Beshear, an email, and my lawyer also sent his office an email.
No, you send him the book, darling.
Yeah.
You send him the book.
Yeah. Telling him, what was going on. And Governor Beshear's office is supposed to have a zero tolerance for sexual harassment in the workplace. He totally ignored my asking him to help me, and haven't heard the first word either by email or phone call.
We have to understand that they have gatekeepers who may not even have given it to him. Right? Yeah. So you send a book. This is public knowledge. Do you want your name associated with the list here? Or do you want to be an advocate for the victim? Right? Yeah. And because, if that's what you got promoted on, won your case on, then stand by the victim.
Yes, well, like I said, so far I have reached out, to a different state agencies, Sarah, not only, Governor, Beshear's office, but I have sent letters to other state departments in the past. And I have asked them, to investigate. Haven't heard the first word, haven't, been acknowledged in absolutely any way.
No, you won't, because it's political and they don't want to touch it because, they're too scared to open that Pandora's box. Probably better even to go out of state to a different news media and say, nobody.
I have tried that.
A road trip, darling. Road trip. You go literally go to every radio station, every TV station and say, here is the book, here I am. My state won't touch it because everybody's protecting their own. Will you touch it? And it's not their
I'll take you with me.
The dukes are up, right?
Yeah, we'll just, spend all summer long on the road.
The thing is, you are persistent. You have written the book about this. You have got the facts. And I do hope that all of those facts and documents are put away somewhere extremely safe, because they will try the dirty on those.
Oh, Sarah, they're all public record.
Oh, good. So
yes, everything, every document in here is a matter of public record. Anybody that, wants to go to the Elliott County Courthouse in Sandy Hook, Kentucky, they can find every document that's in my book there.
Okay. Do me a favor with all your emails and anything else that you've done from everybody. Print them out, put them in a safe deposit box, have them safe.
I will.
Because they'll have a way of deleting, and they'll have a way of saying, no, that never happened.
Oh,
Right?
yes. Well, I have copies of emails. I have a file that is this big, honestly. It's just full. Yeah.
You're going to need a bigger security box, but get one.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. But I just want everybody that's seeing this interview with you, to know that everything that I have went through is absolutely fact. It all happened, and everything in my book is absolutely true, and it's all backed by documentation. There's 3 appendixes in my book: Appendix A, Appendix B, and Appendix C. Appendix B is where everyone, they can read all of these documents, and Appendix C contains websites where someone can go. They can see Warden Miko playing with LaDonna Thompson's butt in January of 2015, when they didn't know the camera was rolling and filming their every move. But Appendix C has websites to articles and to video clips that will also validate my book.
Right. And the A has got the storyline.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The folks, until we are willing to stand up for each other, until we are willing to hold these people that we have put in power, until we're willing to hold them accountable, we're seeing it in Congress, we're seeing it everywhere else. The moment they get into power, it's screw you. I'm going to do what's best for me, and I really don't care about the public. For those that do care about the public, they're fighting not only those people, they're fighting to right the wrongs. But if you're listening to this today and you go back and listen to a full extensive story on what happened in our other show, you know that this is just simply wrong. It's simply wrong. And if we don't come together and help people fight for what is right, we are condoning what is wrong. We are a part of the problem, because we're just going, well, it doesn't affect me, so who cares? Who knows if something is not going to affect you tomorrow? Who knows you're not going to be in a position somewhere like this tomorrow? Who's going to listen to you? Who's going to stand for you? Who's going to be the advocate for you? So it starts with us being the advocate for each other, being there for each other, because only then can we make the difference in the system that is broken and bring about justice for other people's lives.
Sarah, I'd also like to add one point. I wrote my book, to expose the corruption and the injustice, but in hopes that maybe, this would help, someone else.
Yeah.
It's just so easy for a man, that's in power, to look down on a woman or someone else, and they have, the power to manipulate you, and they have, the power to twist things around. They don't have to give accountability or a reason or explanation for anything they do. If something happens, they just do what they want to. They're never questioned. And it's just like this judge. She has held this office for 16 years now, and she can just do what she wants to or she doesn't want to do. She's never questioned. She is never asked, to give accountability for any of this. And I, didn't write the book for any financial gain.
No,
or
you're out
any.
of pocket at this point with
Oh,
all that you've been
yes.
through with your judge and with your
Oh, yes,
lawyer and everything
absolutely.
else.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. Uh, I just wrote it, to bring
about
all
the
of the
facts.
corruption, yes, into light. And I hope that, maybe I can help someone else.
Well, the sheer fact of how you've done it, the story, the detailed facts, the backup on what else you can do for somebody who's going through this and feeling, I just don't know what to do. And you've laid it out. This is an upward climb. This is going to be a big battle, but this is what you need. All of the documents, however small, all of the emails, however small a detail, all of the videos, all of everything needs to be documented, needs to be held somewhere safe, and needs to back you up in every statement that you make. And that you need to
Exactly.
get good advocates around you, people that will stand with you as a team so they don't think you're a lone wolf. You clearly have got to have a good lawyer. As you said, there is somebody that had a wrongful death of her son at that same prison, same judge presiding, no justice, no case brought to justice whatsoever. You've tried to reach out to that lawyer. He's deadbeat, not even responding. You don't even know where the woman is to help fight for her. They just were dismissed. And that was it. And
Right.
and that was a wrongful death in the prison, and that was dismissed. So
Well, the case was filed in 2015, and I have never read anything about the case. When the murder happened, back in 2013, it was a big news at the prison where I worked at.
mhm.
It was big talk, but I have never read an article, or I have never seen anything in black and white about this lawsuit. And this, mother had to hear her son die over the phone.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's what I say. Things go on in prisons that no one ever hears anything about. You never know anything about any of it, because there's this little group, a little mafia, so to speak, and they have this little system, and they're all in bed together, and no one ever hears anything about it, because they have, the power and the resources, to keep it all quiet.
And
And
God
that's what
forbid
they
an
do.
inmate should talk up, right? And that if anybody else talks up, they're suddenly fired without any recourse.
Mhm.
So, is the sexual harassment against the warden is really, I think that's probably even what maybe scared them, is that was just the tip of the iceberg. That was
Right.
just him. But if they actually started looking into the practices of the prison itself, it may unturn some stones they don't want unturned.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, there's always the fear of the can of worms opening up and like them turning into snakes. And that's what it seems to be that they're scared of right now. But we need to open up that can of worms. We need to look at everything as it is, because nothing changes until we expose it.
That's
Nothing
exactly right,
changes
Sarah.
until we hold people accountable. Nothing happens until we demand it. We
That's right.
demand it. And whoever you are in the world, or whatever your position is, there comes a time somewhere along the line that somebody does you an injustice and you want to be believed. You want to know there's somebody there that cares. There's somebody there that's going to help you fight for it. And you've been fighting this alongside with your husband, your grandson, your lawyer now for 8 years. And it's been an upward battle. And never mind the post traumatic stress of what happened with the warden, the stress that you've been through for the last 8 years fighting this injustice, believing that a
Yes.
judge would be there, fair and
Yeah.
open, and yet to give you no justice whatsoever, instead block it in every way they can.
Oh, yes. It's my hope that someone will see this interview, and someone that has the power and the means that can help expose it, get it out there, to where it's just all over TV and all over. That's what this case really needs. And it's like I said, it's hard to say what else would come out of it. So.
Yes, exactly. And it always takes the courage of one. It's Behind These Walls by JoAnn Erwin, ERWIN. It's in Indigo, Barnes and Nobles, Angus Robertson, Kobo, Mandori. Is it on Amazon too?
Yes, Amazon. Mm-hmm.
And this is a book. Just take a read. See for yourself. We see this day in and day out right now of even things being exposed, and the denial by the people that have been quintessentially bought off. Politicians where the lobbyists have, got them in, and in order to keep them there, they've got to vote the way the lobbyists want them to vote. And they're not working for the people. They're working for the people that bought them. And that is a fact. And we've got to remind these people that they're there to serve all of the people, not the interest of the special few. And that means everybody has the right to the justice. Everybody has a right for accountability. Everybody has the right to be heard. And we cannot dismiss someone because maybe they're not rich enough, or they're not big enough name, or they may expose something they don't want to have exposed.
Yes, I thought, everyone has rights. Doesn't matter if you're Black, you're white, you're rich, you're poor, you're male, female, where you live, what you do for a living. I thought, we all had rights. But
yes, America, the land of the free and the justice.
That's right.
We're not seeing the justice, we're seeing injustice.
That's exactly right. And I'm surprised how long my story has actually went on, and how they have been allowed, just to keep it, covered up, and to keep it quiet. But, this judge and every judge, they have all the power. And attorney, they can file motions and all of that, and ask for, trial dates and all of that. But their hands are tied, Sarah, because it actually comes down to the judge.
Yes.
And, the judge is the one that has the final say. Over, the course of 8 years, I have learned that she or he, they're the ones that have total control over all of the smaller people underneath them.
Yes. And the stupidity of it is had they addressed this case right in the beginning, where they knew the warden already lost the case with sexual harassment before, and just giving you your day in court, justice for that, unblacklisted you, so you could go and work anywhere with a clear plate, it would have all gone away. But the fact that they just try to flick you away like an ant, it's just made you a giant, and you're not going away. You're not going away.
Absolutely not. I'm ready for whatever comes my way, and I will welcome it on my feet.
And the thing is, once they really do learn of the book and they read the book, I know they're going to throw a whole lot of mud at you, a whole lot of dirt at you. But as you said, every document in there is public record. The fact that you put it into a record and into a book, into one file, and made it more public, They can't fight that, but they will try. They will try and suppress the book. So this is the time, folks, that I want you to buy the book, support the book, and get that book out there. Get talking about this. I guarantee there's somebody you know, or somebody in your constituency that's going through something similar, where they're not getting their day in court, where the judges are blocking them, where people just the sleight of hand all the time. It's that's the only explanation we can have for her to block you, to be the judge and the jury without even hearing your case, without even allowing your day in court, for her to do that, to dismiss it without even you being there and standing up and looking at all the facts. It does scream, unfortunately, and something that she's going to have to defend, that she's been bought off. We're alleging this, that this could be the case. And if she wants to defend that that is not the case, you welcome her to step up and justify her actions.
Absolutely. Let her give me what I gave her and everyone else, black and white,
yeah,
the public record.
Yes.
Just whip it up on me.
Yeah. And explain why you came to that judgment without even meeting the plaintiff and without even hearing the case.
That's exactly right.
Right. Yeah. It screams corruption and alleged corruption, which we still have to put alleged in there because she has to defend herself, but she needs to defend those actions. Otherwise, she needs to dismiss herself from the case, and another more honest judge needs to step in and give you your day in court.
A conflict of interest. I think that is what I would have now since this came out.
Yes.
So, like I said, I'm anxious to see how the book actually does. I hope that everyone will, look at it from my side. Put themselves in my shoes and just see how I was so treated so badly,
right?
And how I was never, given an opportunity
to defend yourself, to justify it. No explanation. You were just treated like trash.
That's right. And then when I think that I really am going to have my day in court and a jury will, hear all of the facts and they will render a fair and an impartial ruling, Judge Phillips just ups and takes that right away from me 2 days before trial.
Right. Yeah.
So.
No. Definitely unjust, not justice, for sure. So folks, I really do want you to talk about this show. I really, if you know some local media that you think, is interested in something like this injustice, this kind of cause, please send them the show, send them the book. We're begging you to be a part of this advocacy here for what is right, for their accountability, because if we do not come together as a community, I'm in Canada, folks, I can only do so much. You here in America, please stand up against these giants, against these people of privilege that hold other people's lives in their hands and can dismiss those lives as they see fit without any righteousness there. We need to see this change. We need to see it desperately. And I'm inviting you to step out. Now, how do people reach out to you, love, to be a part of that support?
They can reach me at my email, which is JoAnn Erwin @yahoo.com. It's JoAnn, no E, on JoAnn. Erwin is ERWIN @yahoo.com. That's how they can get me.
And let's be supportive. Please, let's be supportive. We're all up to beyond our eyebrows with the injustices. We're seeing this with the gun laws. How many more children have to die? How many more mass shootings, from weapons that should never be in the hands of civilians, and how much more defense of weapons are they going to be over the lives of others? We're sick to death of seeing this injustice over and over and over again. When are we going to see this justice? And you guys know that I, want to stand up for justice and supporting the supporters. I am tired of having to do shows for people, civilians, who are up against the uniforms, whether it be military, whether it be church, whether it be police, or whether it be officials, that are up against the uniforms, where the uniforms are never held accountable. Never held accountable. Just because somebody is wearing a particular uniform that's given them a title and a position of responsibility doesn't mean they cannot be held accountable. We need to hold all of these people accountable. This has gone on for too long. She needs her day in court. She needs her justice. She needs her life back. And she needs to expose really that Pandora box that they want to keep so closed. Needs to be opened up and aired out. Well, JoAnn, I hope the next show is on the Triumph.
Oh, Sarah, that was wonderful. You did such a great job.
Thank you. Hold on a second.
Oh. Well,
okay, folks, so please be a part of the fight. Reach out to her. Remember, you can be a part of the solution. You can be part of the cause. Turning a blind eye is being a part of the problem. Please step up and fight for what is right. Bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Find all of our shows on selfdiscoverymedia.com under podcasts or selfdiscoverymedia/shows. And for all our current shows, go to What's New. We are supported by you, the audience. You'll see a nice big shiny blue button for one-time donations, or follow us on Patreon and you will be able to support us there. We enjoy bringing you such wisdom, and the next show will be up in just a moment.